One thing to note here with the human beings is he says, God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created them, male and female. So there's male and female in day 6. All right. And then he said it was good. And then we go into Genesis chapter 2. Thus the heavens and earth were completed in their vast array. By the 7th day, God had finished his work he had been doing. So on the 7th day, he rested from all of his work. And God blessed the 7th day and made it holy, because on it he rested from the work of creating that he had done. So the 7th day he rests. Now, that means we're in the 7th day right now. God is resting, and we are currently in the 7th day with God resting. Now, this is evident in Hebrews chapter 4. We'll read that later on. But first, I want to jump back into day 6, because this is Adam and Eve and the Garden of Eden. And this also proves that these days cannot be 24-hour days, because all of this stuff happens in Genesis 2, going back into day 6, that all of this stuff that happens in day 2 cannot happen within 24 hours. It's just not possible. So these days must be longer, because God plants a garden. The garden has to grow, right? That takes time for plants to grow. And he also forms Eve, and he also brings the animals to the garden so Adam can name each animal, each bird, each living creature that walks on the land to the garden so Adam can name these things. That can't happen in 24 hours. So this is why these days, I believe, is the 4th meaning of Yom, which is a longer but finite period of time. We'll go to Hebrews chapter 4 so we can see that this is in fact the 7th day, because the Apostle Paul writes about the Sabbath and God resting, and how we should rest with the Lord, since the Lord is currently resting. Now it's called Hebrews chapter 4, the Sabbath rest for the people of God. The later part of verse 3 says, and yet his work has been finished since the creation of the world. For somewhere he has spoken about the 7th day in these words, and on the 7th day God rested from all his work. And again in the passage above that he says, they shall never enter my rest. It still remains that some will enter that rest, and for those who formerly had the gospel preached to them and did not go in because of their disobedience. Therefore God again set a certain day, calling it today, when a long time later he spoke through David, as was said before, today if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts.